In Italia, we have seen Angkor markets, Angkor Wat, Angkor tax services, Angkor supermarket. Do you think it's possible that they have an Angkor management? Or any Angkor issues? Next up, we're headed to Pub Street to check out some walking stuff and some beer for Natalia. You want it in the cold glass? Thank you. She thought we wanted full. Sweet potato and cabbage tacos were so delicious and tasted quite authentic. They're about $2 Canadian each. Hey Natalia, what do you think that we should go out for lunch, and then we maybe go down this when you go out for lunch? Do you have any idea? Do you know what you want?
We also enjoyed the vegan options at Brother Bomb Cafe, including their breakfast baguette option.
Probably the last one of those. Well, starting to wind down here and get ready to head out of town to a 1-week stop in Bangkok, and we just had our favorite baguette, and we're just gonna head back and start the pack down process.
Aw, this kitty was so tolerant and sweet.
Oh my god. Aw, you're a good sport. It's our last night here in Siem Reap, and that means our last night in Cambodia. We've had a blast. The folks here are really cool. We're gonna walk down Pub Street once in the dark, and that will be one of our last looks. In the middle? Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
There's Chan Nit
Yes.
showing up in a nice shirt, always.
Oh, thank you so much.
It was really cool here. It was a lot different than I had expected, and I'm really excited to come back. Bye, Cambodia. Why not visit Cambodia? Tell me in the comments, what should I have done? Is 2 weeks enough in Cambodia? Probably. Tell me what you saw that I didn't. Brag about your trip and how crappy mine was in comparison, and I'll do your trip next year. Hey, David here, and this is a short little exit interview portion, my observations about our time in Cambodia. Now, we weren't really in Cambodia long enough to do any sort of comprehensive review of any systemic problems or any other like known issues. Maybe I missed a couple things. Maybe I just was there soaking up the sunshine of the beaches and enjoying the beautiful temples. Consider my perspective from someone who has just been there 2 weeks and not really seen everything except like the highlight reel. I have to disclaim that I'm not aware of language, extensive cultural backgrounds, and day-to-day Cambodian life to really comment on anything too political, past just what I saw. So first, the positives. Cambodia was filled with friendly, gentle people with amazing senses of humor. Intricate layers of history that reveal a resilient spirit, and that firm resilience is kind of informed, honestly, by what you can sense is a collective, shared set of traumas that they endured for over a century. We felt warmth and hospitality kind of coupled with a no-nonsense approach that was still with a gentle, humorous spirit. Cambodians have a straightforward approach that is really refreshing. They have such interesting food with a wide variety of techniques that you don't often see or that I have never encountered before. So that made for texturally intriguing food, delicious food with all sorts of cool new techniques and really woven into their culture. You learn a lot by eating Cambodian food. On the vegan side, vegan options were readily available almost everywhere that was sort of vaguely touristic. Not as much on the beach areas like Koh Rong, but still some options and not impossible to eat decently while you're there. There isn't as much honking, and traffic is generally much more tolerable. Many people are so well dressed in a mixture of sort of Western and Khmer styles. There's amazing textiles available in Cambodia. There's all sorts of beautiful garments and lovely things to shop and see. Everything is really nicely outfitted in the busier centers, and the villages have a lot of charm in their markets as well. The cost of goods and living and accommodations generally is quite low. Accommodations at the budget level are really nice. The transport is convenient and widely available. The sleeper buses were quite good compared to other places we've been, and the things generally ran as scheduled. A side note there is that the mangoes are some of the best we have ever tasted, and we have been to a lot of the mango nations. These were sweet and huge and abundant and so reasonably priced. You could get a huge mango, cut up for you for like $1. And whether those mangoes were dry or fresh or in a shake or in some sort of little dessert, they were delicious. So sweet. Now, we can't make a list of positives without really emphasizing the surprising, almost unparalleled beauty of Koh Rong's beaches. These islands in Cambodia have, like, ultra-fine, brilliant white, crisp, clean beaches with palm trees, with coconuts, with beautiful blue sky and amazing sunsets, amazing sunrises, relatively accessible by scooter, and just so private and so beautiful. Endless beaches to walk if you love walking beaches. Just incredible, truly incredible. You don't think about these kind of images when you're thinking about Cambodia, or at least I didn't, and now I always will. We would go back. I'm not even actually that tremendously a certified beach person. It isn't my first thought when I'm taking a vacation, but I crave being back there. What an amazing set of beaches. Plus, so many examples of stunning old world architecture, temples steeped in history, imbued with just the feeling, the energetic presence of so many generations of people for 1,000 plus years. It was really stunning. Now, let's head on to some of the negatives. We weren't really there long enough to get a good, clear picture of like systemic governmental negatives. So this is sort of more related to the tourist experience. I know I keep saying that, but I don't want anyone to think that we're just kind of visiting a country and assessing what value they have from some sort of Western mind frame. So the poverty in the region is still fairly difficult to see in some places. It wasn't everywhere, but when you did see it, it was a bit intense. And that poverty is sort of underscored by knowing the sort of historical and relatively recent devastation that they've suffered as a nation with genocide, colonization, hidden war, and attacks from China, Thailand, and other neighboring nations. And I will say the main negative that I'm speaking here is not that it happened to them, but the fact that those nations, particularly the United States and France, who did all the bombing of them, haven't done enough to clean up. They're still clearing mines. They're still finding unexploded ordnance, as they have in Laos, and that's just unfair. We saw a couple of museum displays where a number of statues had been repatriated to Cambodia that were stolen by a fairly prominent relic hunter from the USA. And although a lot of these relics were raided in the 1970s and early 80s, they've only were repatriated last year as a combined effort of the Obama and Biden administrations. So even that took a very long time to get them back their stuff. These nations should make an effort to empower Cambodian governments. The government is going through a transitional phase now as it goes back to a sort of monarchy or more toward a democratic state as time goes on. The new king or the reestablishment of the king has been very well received by Cambodians, and many people that we talk to seem to have general contentment with that. Regardless, it seems safe to say that any leadership of the Cambodian government, current or past, could have done more to address some poverty issues. The rest of the world could lobby, if they have been part of those who have harmed Cambodia, to help build them up again. A side note is that a consideration for vegan folks is that the Koh Rong area was not amazingly vegan friendly. There were options, but some of them were basic, and there weren't too many of them. That said, still worth a visit. On that same vegan thread, there may be some street displays, some zoos you encounter, and some other animal experiences that may not agree with you or us as vegans. Some of those things you encounter will require some personal resilience to witness, and possibly even some disassociation to be able to continue to enjoy your trip. Of course, you've seen from other videos, though, that there are awesome animal orgs and lots of great stuff happening for animal welfare and animal rights in that country as well. That's about it for negatives. Put your own in the comments and let me know what you think. Now, just a couple of tips and tricks that we found while we were there. For Canadian travelers, the main currencies are the Cambodian rial, but most often everything is priced in US dollars, and US dollars are widely accepted. You can kind of do some conversions and do what works best for you, but we found that it was very easy and very economical to exchange US dollars. This is another place where if your bill that you are converting has even the slightest defect in any way, it will be rejected. The best exchange rates we found were at banks for their standard rate, and the jewelry stores and other money changers in the local markets maybe had a fraction of a percent better deal, but overall it was pretty fair and fairly true to what you'd see on Google. We used the Grab app and found, as always, it was the best way to figure out what prices should be for a ride, how far something was, and just generally have the best service as far as using a platform to get yourself a ride with less hassle. Although, I will say, as far as the drivers there, people were very kind. Our driver Chan that you saw in like 3 of the videos, we met him just outside when we got off the bus, the overnight bus. He was just kind of hanging out there. Very nice man, very honest, and we got an excellent price from him that was just based on the usual standard rate. So there we go. That is my limited overview of an exit interview for Cambodia. We were really left with a great impression of Cambodia. We want to go back. I think we're going to. And we're going to because, in part, it was a great price and the people were so cool and everything was great. So, with respect to pricing, let's take a look now at a bunch of things and what they cost, some sort of everyday, touristy, day-to-day items that we discovered. And when I go back there next year or the year after for a longer time, we'll do a deeper dive.
10-kilometer ride in a remorque from the airport to the hotel. $6.50 Canadian. Cambodian king-sized hotel room. We purchased a $30 room. Canadian. But we were upgraded to the $50 room for free. Dried mango, $11 a kilo. Shirts, about $5 to $7. Dresses, about $10 to $15. Pants, $9 to $15. This shirt, $12. Big bowl of soup, $4. Fried noodle dish at a restaurant, $4. Cost of a delicious dinner with appetizer, 2 drinks, and 2 big mains, $15. 2 pairs of these cotton shorts, $5 Canadian. 250 grams of dried mango, $4 Canadian. Freezy, 40 cents. Soda water, 75 cents. Sour soft drink, 75 cents. Admission to the National Museum of Cambodia, $15 Canadian. Imported accidentally vegan biscuits, $2.75. Pringles-esque potato chips, $2. A sleeve of Oreos, $1. Price of a scooter rental from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. plus gasoline included. The gasoline's free. $14 Canadian. A 7 to 8 kilometer tuk-tuk ride using Grab, $3 Canadian. 1 fresh pear, 75 cents Canadian. Strawberries, $10 Canadian. Assorted tofu from $1.25 to $2 a pack. 250 mils of olive oil, about $8 Canadian. Cans of beer, local, about $1. Import, up to $3.
Accidentally Vegan instant noodles, approximately $1 Canadian. Soybean milk with brown sugar made with Canadian whole soybeans, $1 Canadian. Mentos without gelatin and accidentally vegan here, $1.20. Almond Breeze, $4.50 Canadian. Local milk alternatives, $3. Toothpaste, $3 to $10.
Laundry in Cambodia, $1.50 Canadian per kilo. Fresh mango at Angkor Wat, $1. Peeled and cut for you. This bunch of bananas, $1. Oh, no, it's $1.40 Canadian.
4 vegan tacos on Pub Street,
$6. And by the way, if I haven't said it already in any of these videos, thanks so much for joining us on our journey. Share anything that you like, comment on anything that moves you, and for Vegan Everywhere, I'm David.